Chapter 61 Big Ticket. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The second elder was held tightly in the palm of the giant hand, unable to break free. He was puzzled by a question that Li Qingyun had never considered. Until this moment, he could not believe that Li Qingyun actually mastered two secret methods. As the supreme elder of the soul-snatching sect, he had practiced for more than 300 years, and only then, by chance, did he obtain and master a secret method. Google search reading, but Li Qingyun, a foundation-building cultivator, was called a waste some time ago, and was called not to be feared by the seventh elder. Now he actually has two secret methods. And now he is controlling himself. Li Qingyun looked at the expression of the second elder and thought, "It's okay for you to be sad and angry, but why do you look like you can't understand?" He thought, what doesn't he understand? Doesn't he already know that my strength is enhanced by the formation? Could it be that he doesn't understand why I am so handsome? Yes, it must be. What makes a great cultivator in the middle stage of the nascent soul unable to understand must be my stunningly handsome face. Thinking of this, Li Qingyun looked at the second elder with pride, and added strength between his giant hands, causing the second elder to faint and lose consciousness. Then he turned around and looked at the seventh elder. Seeing Li Qingyun's great power, the seventh elder had lost his will to fight. He shrank his neck in fear and said, I surrender. TSK. Li Qingyun snorted disdainfully. The so-called supreme elder of the soul capture sect is nothing more than this. Not to be feared. When the seventh elder heard Li Qingyun say not to be feared, he felt extremely complicated. This word not to be feared has always been his evaluation of Li Qingyun, but now Li Qingyun used it to evaluate him. Li Qingyun's rise is completely in just a short period of time. If I had taken Li Qingyun seriously earlier, wouldn't there be today's result? Li Qingyun sealed the spiritual power of the seventh elder and the second elder. Fearing that he could not seal the second elder, he specially used a kind of elixir for the second elder. After sealing, he took out two extremely strong hemp ropes and carefully tied the two people up, and finally blocked their mouths with two pieces of rags. Feng Yong saw this scene and his face twitched. Sure enough, the kidnapper's kidnapping skills are inherited from the same lineage. Li Qingyun sensed the location of Pingyun and Xuanhuan in the sect and found that the two actually sneaked to the back mountain. They actually wanted to sneak to Wuming Mountain. Li Qingyun hurriedly stopped the two. When Li Qingyun appeared in front of the two, Pingyun and Xuanhuan were shocked. Master. You are back. The two spoke almost at the same time. Xuanhuan said, Master, there are two elders of the soul-snatching sect in the main hall. They said they want to take us to the soul-snatching sect. We were just about to flee to the back mountain and not follow them. Pingyun said, Master, the two old men in the main hall are too powerful. You should flee to the back mountain with us. After they leave, we will come back secretly. Feeling the concern of the two disciples, Li Qingyun reached out and rubbed their heads, saying, Master loves you for nothing. After saying that, a light flashed in his hand, and the second and seventh elders were thrown to the ground by him. Ah! It's those two elders. Wow! Master, you are so powerful. That the two disciples saw that Li Qingyun defeated the two elders in a few seconds and tied them up like this. They immediately looked at Li Qingyun with stars in their eyes and admired him. Li Qingyun said, It's a piece of cake, a piece of cake. Master only used 30% of his strength to deal with these two old bastards. Yeah. Old bastards. Pingyun replied crisply. Master. After calling him the old bastard, Pingyun's eyes lit up, and he suddenly thought of something and poked Xuanhuan with his finger. Xuanhuan came back to his senses and nodded to Pingyun. Xuanhuan said, Master, Pingyun and I went to check the spiritual field on your orders and found that the spiritual field could not be harvested because 10 outer disciples of the soul-snatching sect were making trouble. So Pingyun and I dealt with them and ensured that the spiritual field could be harvested. Well, you did a good job. Li Qingyun praised. These are the 10 people. With a flash of light, 10 people who were tied up flew out of Sun Liang's storage ring. Putting them together with the two tied-up elders, Li Qingyun was surprised to find that the methods of tying up these 12 people were exactly the same, and even the angles of stuffing rags in their mouths were the same. It seems that these two guys don't learn good things, but learn bad things very quickly. Then, Ping'an excitedly reported to Li Qingyun, 10 people were tied up. I calculated that they were worth at most 10,000 spirit stones. In order to make Master happy, my senior brother and I decided to go to the Spirit Tower in Xuanhuan City to tie up more disciples of the soul-snatching sect. So we went to the West City Spirit Tower in Xuanhuan City and tied up all the 30 disciples of the soul-snatching sect stationed there. 40 people, 40,000 spirit stones, hee. Ping'an smiled happily with his little tiger teeth. The light flashed again, and 30 people were thrown out. Sun Liang said, "These are the 30 people." Li Qingyun looked at the large group of soul-snatching sect disciples lying in front of him, who were tied up like hairy crabs, and then looked at the two disciples, one innocent and the other honest, and suddenly felt complicated. The seventh elder listened to Ping'an and Sun Liang's words, and looked at the disciples who were tied up, and felt mixed emotions. At this time, Li Qingyun waved his hand, and 6 people came out of the sect prison. They were the 2 supreme elders, the 5th elder and the 6th elder, and 4 core disciples in the foundation establishment stage. The 40 tied-up disciples were furious when they saw the 6 people, and dozens of mouths stuffed with rags made desperate whimpering sounds. Li Qingyun thought that the 40 people probably hadn't seen the 2nd and 7th elders yet, so he picked up the 2nd and 7th elders with both hands and showed them to the 40 people. The 40 people bit the rags tightly, their eyes full of disbelief. The 2nd elder, the 5th elder, the 6th elder, the 7th elder, the 7 great elders were actually captured by the soul-snatching sect. The crowd who had originally wanted to resist suddenly lost all hope. How did this group of Qingshan Sect bandits, monsters, do it? Li Qingyun saw the crowd's performance and nodded with satisfaction. At this time, the 2nd elder woke up from his coma and saw the 5th and 6th elders. His look of surprise was no less than that of the 40 disciples. Li Qingyun thought about it and took out the rags from the 4 elders' mouths, because he also wanted to listen to the conversation between the 4 elders, which must be quite exciting. Didn't you go to Wuming Mountain? Why did you run here? 2nd elder, you don't know. When I went to Wuming Mountain, I met the devil Li Qingyun. He ambushed me and killed me. Why did the 2nd elder appear in Qingshan Sect? The 2nd elder hesitated for a moment and said, I was also ambushed by the devil Li Qingyun. Ah! Several people sighed together. They all knew what the so-called ambush meant. It was nothing more than a face-saving statement. Li Qingyun didn't care that these people called him a devil in person. After all, it was a face-saving statement. Human rights should still be maintained. Moreover, compared with the word waste, devil sounds much better. The entire soul-snatching sect has less than 500 disciples and only 7 supreme elders. Now, their 44 disciples and 4 supreme elders are all in his hands. It seems that his vote is a bit big. Chapter 62, Joke. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You said you have been together for 2 days? Li Qingyun asked as he looked at Tang Yongho, the envoy from Huang Sect again. Google search reading. Yes, Sect Master Li. Tang Yongho's eyes were now more respectful than before. He said, 80% of the 2-star sects and 90% of the 1-star sects of the Huang Sect, Xiaoyao Sect and Dihua Sect have been meeting in the Huang Sect for 2 days. Many sects have united to form the Huang Alliance. Li Qingyun asked, so, you knew when the 2nd elder and the others came to the door yesterday? Of course you know. Besides, the news about the 2nd elder and 7th elder of the Soul Capture sect was also told to you by the Alliance. Oh, Li Qingyun said lightly, so you have known for a long time. Yesterday, the 2 elders of the Soul Calling sect came to kill you. You also knew it, but you just watched these 2 people break into the unsuspecting Qingshan Sect. This. Tang Yongho didn't expect that Li Qingyun would question him, and he didn't know how to answer for a while. Of course, Li Qingyun said, you, the Underworld Alliance, of course have the right to wait and see what happens. After all, I have nothing to do with your Underworld sect. I, Li Qingyun, am deeply grateful for your help. If you don't come to help, let's just do our jobs. I, Li Qingyun, have nothing to say. However, since you, the Huang Sect, are watching a show on the side to see if I, the Qingshan Sect, are qualified to cooperate with you and test my Qingshan Sect, then don't blame me, the Qingshan Sect, for using this matter to test your Huang Sect. After this incident, you, the Xuanhuan Alliance, feel that the Qingshan Sect is a strong partner and worthy of cooperation. But unfortunately, after this incident, I, the Qingshan Sect, believe that the Xuanhuan Alliance did nothing during the crisis of the Qingshan Sect. They could not even convey information. Instead, they sat aside and watched the show. This kind of behavior is not worthy of the Qingshan Sect. Cooperate with it. This. Tang Yongho was stunned. Li Qingyun's current reaction was unexpected. He originally thought that Li Qingyun would happily ask to join the Xuanhuan Alliance, but he didn't expect that he rejected him without waiting for his invitation, and before Li Qingyun said these words, he didn't think there was anything wrong with what the Xuanhuan Alliance did, but after listening to Li Qingyun's words, Tang Yongho suddenly realized it. The alliance got the news the moment the spy died in the soul-capturing sect, and when the second elder and the seventh elder set off. From the soul-capturing sect, they also got the news immediately. However, among all the high-level monks in the alliance, none of them when people thought of informing Li Qingyun, they actually watched with cold eyes to see Qingshan Sect's reaction on this matter. Fortunately, Li Qingyun returned in time in the end, but what if he didn't return in time? The Qingshan Sect's empty gate was wide open. Facing the two supreme elders of the soul-captivating sect, it was impossible to say that the entire sect would be destroyed. Tang Yongho also realized that the Xuanhuan Alliance was indeed looking down on the Qingshan Sect from a high position. A proud person like Li Qingyun would never be able to cooperate with them under such anger. Li Qingyun said, "So, go back and tell Huang Quanzi that I will not join any Xuanhuan Alliance organized by your Xuanhuan Sect, but I will not be your enemy either. Soul captors, I will take action myself. As for cooperation, if you show enough sincerity, I can help you Xuanhuan Alliance take action once, which is considered as a reward for the information you told me in the first place." Understood. Tang Yongho, who was shocked by Li Qingyun's domineering words, heard this and nodded like a chicken pecking at rice. Yes, yes, I will definitely bring you your words. Then I won't give it away. Yes. Tang Yongho responded and hurried back to the Xuanhuan Sect. At this time, in the Xuanhuan Sect's main hall, dozens of leaders of various sects were gathering together. Among the dozens of people, all were in the late foundation establishment stage or above, and 20% of them were golden core stage monks. Such a force is enough to run amok in a small place like Dihua Mansion. These people are obviously the Xuanhuan Alliance led by the Xuanhuan Sect. At this time, these dozens of people were sitting together, as if waiting for something. A big man with a beard was obviously a little impatient and said, "How about you guys tell me, what ranking should be given to the Qingshan Sect when he joins the alliance?" As soon as these words came out, dozens of people who had been silent suddenly began to whisper. Obviously they were all very concerned about the ranking. The big man said, "Although the Qingshan Sect is quite strong and can neutralize the attack of the two elders of the soul-calling sect, at present, we are not sure how Li Qingyun managed to resolve it." A man with yellow eyebrows in a long robe sneered, stood up and said, "Sect Master Zhang, no matter how dilapidated the Qingshan Sect is, it is still an industry left by the three-star peak sect. A skinny camel is bigger than a horse. The Qingshan Sect's ranking will always be. I still have to queue up before your Douquang Sect, so I won't bother you, Sect Master Zhang." The big man obviously didn't care about Huang Mei's teasing, and said, Sect leader Huang was surprised by this statement. This Qingshan Sect is the successor of the three-star pinnacle sect. Everyone here knows it. But if Li Qingyun wants to deal with the two supreme elders of the soul-calling sect, even the secrets his father left to him were used. Then the Qingshan Sect's strength is too overwhelming. As soon as these words came out, half of the dozens of people nodded, obviously convinced by the words of Sect Master Zhang. Intelligence shows that Li Qingyun was not captured by the two elders of the soul-snatching sect, and the Qingshan Sect is operating normally as usual, which means that Li Qingyun used some unknown method to resolve the attack of the two great elders of the soul-snatching sect. No one knows what happened in the Qingshan Sect, but in their hearts, they are more inclined to believe that Li Qingyun took out the secret magic weapon left by his father and forced the two great elders of the soul-snatching sect to retreat. After all, the second elder is a genuine mid-nascent soul strongman, and they don't believe that Li Qingyun has the ability to kill them. Okay. A white-haired old man spoke up and stopped everyone in the hall from discussing. The old man was wearing a loose yellow shirt and had a head full of white hair, but his skin was as delicate as a baby. He sat in the center of the hall, so his identity was obvious. He was the leader of the Xuanhuan alliance, the great elder and leader of the Huang Sect, Huang Quanzi. Huang Quanzi half closed his eyelids and said, "Let's rank Qingshan Sect according to the ranking given by Tianji Pavilion. Currently, Qingshan Sect ranks 11th among 2-star sections. Counting my Huangquan Sect and Xiaoyao Sect, Qingshan Sect should be ranked 13th. Everyone nodded. This ranking method is indeed fair. Naturally, no one has any objection to the ranking of Tianji Pavilion. At this time, Tang Yongho rushed back to Huangquan Sect and ran back to the hall panting. Huang Quanzi looked at Tang Yongho and asked, "Yongho, where is Li Qingyun?" Tang Yongho said breathlessly, Li Qingyun said that he would not join the Huangquan alliance. The hall fell into a dead silence. Li Qingyun disdained to join the Huangquan alliance, then they were still discussing the ranking of Qingshan Sect so enthusiastically just now, wasn't it a joke? Chapter 63 Sorry. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Why are you here again? Li Qingyun looked at Tang Yongho who had rushed back from Huangquan Sect again. Tang Yongho's face flushed, and he didn't know what he was thinking. He was obviously a little embarrassed. He said, "My sect elder was very sorry to learn that you didn't want to join Huangquan Sect." He, Li Qingyun sneered, "Is he very angry?" Tang Yongho thought of Huang Quanzi's embarrassed face, holding back his anger, and he was really angry. But my sect elder heard that Sect Master Li was willing to help Huangquan Alliance again, and felt very relieved, so he sent me to inform Sect Master Li about the need for help. Oh, Li Qingyun was surprised. There was a plan that required him to help so soon. The great elder of our sect saw that Sect Master Li resolved the attack of the 2nd and 7th elders of the Huangquan Sect, and knew that Sect Master Li must have some understanding of the 2nd and 7th elders. Therefore, the great elder requests you to help the Huangquan alliance to contain the 2 elders of the soul-snatching sect. Li Qingyun was confused. Of course, the Huangquan alliance would not let Sect Master Li do such an important task in vain. If Sect Master Li can challenge the 2 elders of the soul-snatching sect in public, even if he fails in public, he can get 50,000 spirit stones from the Huangquan alliance. Li Qingyun understood that it seemed that the Huangquan alliance was rejected by him, and was angry and humiliated him with such a request. "Let me deal with the 2nd and 7th elders. But these 2 people are in my storage space, tied up like hairy crabs. Did these people's heads get kicked by an old donkey? 50,000 spirit stones. What if I win?" Li Qingyun looked at Tang Yongho with a strange expression and asked. "If you win, you will get 100,000 spirit stones." Tang Yongho looked at Li Qingyun in doubt. Would such a shrewd Sect Master Li really accept this request? It shouldn't be. If one party gives up, it will be considered a loss, right? Li Qingyun touched his chin. Yes. Tang Yongho blinked. Okay, Li Qingyun also blinked, a little embarrassed. I agree. Really? Seeing Li Qingyun so straightforward, Tang Yongho reminded, Qingshan Sect cannot get spirit stones without fighting. Ahem. Li Qingyun coughed, since your Huangquan alliance is so sincere, 100,000 spirit stones, my Qingshan Sect will, well, take a risk. In fact, what he was thinking in his heart was, since you want to give money, how can this sect master not accept it? Tang Yongho doubted his ears. Why did Li Qingyun suddenly become a fool? Did he really think that he could beat the supreme elder of the soul capture sect in a fair fight? Are you sure? Sure, why not? Li Qingyun blinked. Then. I'll report to the sect. Tang Yongho felt strange. He didn't expect that the sect had only asked him to use this condition to squeeze Li Qingyun, but Li Qingyun agreed. Li Qingyun didn't seem like a fool, but why was he so stupid now? This unexpected situation was no longer something he could decide. He even had a few drops of sweat rolling down his forehead. He gritted his teeth, took out a jade talisman, activated it, and communicated directly with the sect. After a long time, Tang Yongho took a long breath and said, "Masterly, the elder of our sect said that if you agree to the request, please drop blood on the blood contract. Once you drop blood on the blood contract, neither party can regret it." At this time, Tang Yongho was holding a bright red jade slip in his hand, which was the blood contract. This blood contract is a treasure used by cultivators to swear an alliance. Once the two parties shed blood to establish the contract, if someone violates it, they will be punished by the heaven, their Dao heart will collapse, their cultivation will regress, and they may even lose their lives. This is not good. Li Qingyun was even more embarrassed, taking money given by others and signing a blood contract. Isn't this obviously bullying everyone? Even if he is so thick-skinned, he feels a little embarrassed. Tang Yongho also felt that this was a bit bullying, and he was very embarrassed. He scratched his head and said, "Masterly, please don't be offended. This is also for safety reasons, not bullying." "Huh." Li Qingyun excitedly grabbed Tang Yongho's hand. "Yes. For safety reasons, it is not bullying. I feel much better when you say that. I don't blame you, and you don't blame me. Everyone should follow the rules of the contract and don't be emotional." Tang Yongho looked at the excited Li Qingyun and thought to himself, is Masterly really stimulated and stupid? Li Qingyun grabbed the blood contract, checked it briefly, and found that it was exactly the same as what he had just said, so he quickly signed the contract with blood, and the action was done in one go. Tang Yongho's expression was even more interesting. Why did this Li Zongzhu look like he was afraid that I would regret it? It was obviously us who bullied you. Why are you still rushing to do it? Why are you so enthusiastic, so weird? The more he looked at it, the more he felt that Li Qingyun was strange. He took the signed blood contract and decided not to stay here. He said, "The matter is over, so I'll take my leave." "You're leaving now?" Li Qingyun walked up, leaned against Tang Yongho affectionately, and said, "Stay for a meal before leaving." Hearing this, Tang Yongho got goosebumps all over his body. He couldn't stand this weird feeling anymore. He turned around in a hurry and ran away. "No need, goodbye. Hey, I'll see you off." Li Qingyun's waving hand froze and muttered, "It's such a pity that I didn't even have a meal after sending such a big gift." Tang Yongho, who fled, said, "Monster." Early the next morning, in the most eye-catching places of the east, west, south, and north houses of Dihua Prefecture, as well as Dihua City in the center, this notice appeared at the same time. "I have long heard that the 7 supreme elders of the soul-capturing sect are named after each other. Although the Qingshan Sect is not talented, I would like to officially challenge the supreme elder who is ranked 2nd and 7th in the soul-capturing sect. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock, Dihua City Tianji Pavilion Branch's No. 1 martial arts performance venue will be held. One-on-one duel, life or death." If the information conveyed by the above sentences can cause an uproar in the entire Dihua mansion, there is another sentence after it that will completely explode all the followers of Dihua mansion. At the end of the notice, it was written, "In order to show respect for the soul-taking sect, the Qingshan Sect has decided to send its core disciple Sun Liang, who has practiced Qi to the great perfection, and his junior disciple who has practiced Qi at the 10th level to fight safely." Almost everyone who saw these notices marveled. Is this Qingshan Sect crazy? Awesome, how dare you make fun of the Soul Captor Sect? Doesn't the Qingshan Sect know that the Soul Captivating Sect is actually the strongest sect in Dihua Mansion? Has the Soul Capturing Sect already surpassed the Dihua Sect? Be careful. In short, everyone who saw this notice, without exception, seemed to think that the Qingshan Sect was deliberately joking. No one thought that they were seriously challenging the Soul Captor sect. Among the Qingshan Sect, Lin Zhixiao was reporting the situation to Li Qingyun very carefully. Li Qingyun nodded, yes, this is the effect we want. Let's make some waves on the first day to attract attention. Yes. Lin Zhixiao said respectfully. It turned out that such an uproar was just a small disturbance in the eyes of the sect leader, and he respected Li Qingyun more and more in his heart. The next steps will be as planned. Have you contacted the Chamber of Commerce, Gambling, and Martial Arts venues in Dihua City? Will Sun Lianqing still cooperate? Lin Zhixiao's eyes became more respectful and he said, don't worry, Master, Sun Lianqing heard that it was your arrangement and quickly helped me arrange everything. Okay, hurry back to Dihua City. You still need to make arrangements there. In the next few days, you can just follow the plan and there is no need to report again. Li Qingyun said calmly. Lin Zhixiao hugged his fists and retreated, watching Lin Zhixiao walk away and thinking about the talents in different fields he had recruited during this period. Li Qingyun sighed. You, the Xuanhuan Alliance, have a large number of people, but I, Li Qingyun, am no longer alone. Today's Qingshan Sect already has the strength to compete with the huge Xuanhuan Alliance. Ding, according to system detection, this mission will add a lot of hidden attributes to the sect and release the mission objectives. 1. To establish the sect's prestige in Dihua Mansion. 2. And attack the reputation of the Soul Capture sect. 3. At the end of the mission, obtain the spiritual stone sent by Huang Quanzi sect. Mission reward. 1. A lot of hidden attributes. 2. Genius points 1500 inch. Chapter 64, Welcome Peace. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next day, Xuanhuan Alliance sent Tang Yongho and a yellow-haired disciple who looked much smarter than Tang Yongho to assist Li Qingyun and set off to Dihua City to watch the battle. Google search reading. Li Qingyun went there happily. He knew very well that Xuanhuan Alliance was just a precautionary measure and sent spies to monitor him and see what he was up to. Unfortunately, he had already finished the steps of this chess game, and the purpose of playing chess was not just for the 100,000 spirit stones of Xuanhuan Alliance. Spending tens of thousands of spirit stones, setting up 5 projection arrays in 5 cities, and making such a huge announcement in the 5 cities, the means of Sect Master Li are really beyond our imagination. Is Sect Master Li really just for the 100,000 spirit stones? In the Tianji Pavilion branch in Dihua City, Sun Lianqing and Lin Zhixiao sat opposite each other and sighed. Lin Zhixiao said with a smile, the Sect Master is a dragon among men, so we should not speculate on his thoughts. Since Brother Sun has arranged a good show for today, let's wait and see. Sun Lianqing said, okay. On the second day, the Tianzi No. 1 Martial Arts Arena of Tianji Pavilion announced that the contest between the Qingshan Sect disciples and the Soul-Shedding Sect elders to be held in the evening would be free to watch. At the same time, the martial arts arenas in the east, west, south, and north palaces, which were broadcasted by projection arrays, also announced that they would be free to watch. Sect competitions are rare. In Dihua Prefecture, the only competition in several years was the friendly match between the Qingshan Sect and the Soul-Shedding Sect some time ago. The small sect competition and the competition between the sect cultivators attracted almost all the residents. In addition, even if the Tianzi No. 1 Martial Arts Arena is a real competition, you have to spend a lot of money to enter and watch it, so, in the evening of that day, this challenge competition, which was originally regarded as a farce, was actually packed with people. In the 5 cities and 5 martial arts arenas of Dihua Prefecture, hundreds of thousands of people arrived at the viewing site. Welcome everyone, this time. The host used a huge loudspeaker array to promote, but did not cause any fluctuations among hundreds of thousands of people, because at this time, most ordinary people were attracted by Pingyun in the projection array. Pingyun was wearing a fitted gown at this time, and his hair was combed meticulously by Yang Haiaoxue, who had just come out of retreat. He was cute and playful with handsomeness, and coupled with his extraordinary temperament and handsome appearance, he caused a commotion in the whole audience. This young man is so decent. Ah! This little brother is so cute. I really want to hug him and rub his head. So handsome. He is still a cultivator, and it is said that he has practiced Qi for 10 levels. Ah, so suitable. Ping An appeared only a moment later, except for Shuangliu City, Dihua City and other 30% of the rich ladies began to frantically inquire about Ping An's news. The rest of the audience also curiously inquired about Ping An's news. The residents of Shuangliu City proudly introduced information about Ping An to the people around them. The audience seems to like your disciple very much, Master Li. Tang Yongho asked Li Qingyun, who was looking at him. Oh, this kid has been popular since he was a child. Li Qingyun said lightly. But, Tang Yongho said, can you bear to let him die? To die? Li Qingyun said dryly, Ping An is my disciple. Li Qingyun, how could he not beat the second elder of the soul-snatching sect? Tang Yongho choked, wondering how Li Qingyun did it, and made such a nonsense statement so logical. If someone who didn't know the situation heard it, it's possible that he would be intimidated by him and think that he, Li Qingyun, was really an extraordinary person. The yellow-haired disciple who came with him sneered and said, Master Li, if you think that if your beautiful disciple is welcomed by the audience, the grand elder of the soul-snatching sect will not kill him, you are too naive. Li Qingyun was stunned, staring, as if he was right. How can you slander Qingbai like this? At the same time, Huang Quanzi also appeared in the audience at this time. He asked the disciple on the side, has anyone from the soul-snatching sect come? Someone has come, but Xu Taihe doesn't seem to be here. What? Xu Taihe is the real name of the second elder of the soul-snatching sect. Xu Taihe didn't come because the second elder didn't come. Huang Quanzi was surprised. Qingshan Sect was provoking the soul-snatching sect so much. With the current prosperous state of the soul-snatching sect, it is impossible not to suppress Qingshan Sect, but why didn't they come? Huang Quanzi looked at the area where the disciples of the soul-snatching sect were, and after a moment of silence, he said to the person next to him, Go, take my flying magic weapon, and go to the soul-snatching sect to inform them. The man was surprised. The Huang Quan alliance was for the purpose of fighting against the soul-snatching sect, but now the leader of the Huang Quan sect actually asked him to go to the soul-snatching sect to inform them. But he did not dare to disobey Huang Quanzi's order, so he had to suppress his surprise and go to the soul-snatching sect to inform them. Huang Quanzi originally wanted to give Li Qingyun a warning and humiliate Li Qingyun, but he did not expect Li Qingyun to agree and actually challenge the two great elders of the soul-snatching sect, and even made such a big scene, and it seems that the soul-snatching sect has not come yet with such a big scene. Could it be that they were stopped by Li Qingyun? Impossible. How could Li Qingyun have the strength to stop the great elders of the soul-snatching sect? If the soul-snatching sect did not send anyone, then the Qingshan sect would win, and in this case, he would have to give Li Qingyun 100,000 spirit stones, a result he could not afford. At the same time, all casinos in the 5 cities of Dihua Prefecture opened gambling games for this competition. Lin Jixiao sat in the Tianji Pavilion, holding the intelligence sent from the major casinos in his hand, nervously analyzing it. At this time, after following Li Qingyun through several major events, Lin Jixiao has become a person who can stand on his own. At this time, he calmly gave this order to the people around him. The victory and defeat have been determined, so let's continue with something interesting. The audience has obviously realized that there are some problems with the competition. The second elder of the soul-snatching sect has not come yet, and Ping An on the stage has been waiting for nearly an hour. Is it possible that the second elder of the soul-snatching sect is willing to be trampled by this junior and is unwilling to come out to participate in the battle? At this time, the host appeared and said, it seems that something unexpected has happened. The elders of the soul-snatching sect cannot fight in time. When this was said, the audience was in an uproar. Although the elders of the soul-snatching sect did not promise to participate in the battle, the audience felt that since so many of them had come, the elders of the soul-snatching sect must fight. If they did not fight now, it would be a disappointment to the audience and a sign of contempt for them. In the martial arts arenas of the 5 cities, curses against the soul-snatching sect were heard almost at the same time. The reputation of the soul-snatching sect seemed to have fallen to an unprecedented level. Li Qingyun thought to himself, one of the mission goals, to hit the reputation of the soul-snatching sect, seems to have been accomplished. Next, we should improve the reputation of our Qingshan sect and make our Qingshan sect famous. Chapter 65 Performance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Li Qingyun nodded towards Pinyin. Pinyin raised his eyebrows and gave Li Qingyun a received expression. 6-9 SHUX. COM. The next moment, Pinyin looked at the host, with big watery eyes, and asked pitifully, "Is it true? Is Elder Su not coming?" That the host was a young woman. Seeing Pinyin looking at her with tears in her eyes, her heart almost melted. She stretched out her hand and rubbed Pinyan's head lovingly. "Yes, poor thing, he probably won't be able to come," Pinyin said aggrievedly, "but, he forced my master to challenge him." Boom! As soon as these words came out, the audience was in a state of gossip. Tang Yongho looked at Li Qingyun, the yellow-haired disciple looked at Li Qingyun, Huang Quanzi looked at the air with confusion on his face. At this time, Sun Liancheng, who was standing behind the command, shouted, "Change the lens of the array." Li Qingyun entered the camera. Li Qingyun's indifferent expression just now suddenly turned pale and weak. He even stretched out his hand to cover his mouth and coughed a few times. He looked sick and seemed to be affected. Seriously injured, Tang Yongho, an honest man on the side, was puzzled. Why did sect leader Li, who was so rosy and radiant just now, suddenly become sick and sick? Is it the sequelae of the previous battle with the second elder? Li Qingyun walked to the ring sickly, stood in the center of the ring, and took the host's loudspeaker array unceremoniously. "As of now, I won't hide it from everyone anymore." The host looked at Li Qingyun in bewilderment, with a professional smile on his face, but he was madly complaining in his heart. "No one asked you, either. Just come up and say it. Why are you so familiar with me? So you took away my microphone?" Li Qingyun coughed exaggeratedly. Actually, the master and the apprentice were practicing peacefully in the Qingshan Sect and never thought about competing with others. However, just yesterday, the photographer, the second elder of the Soul Sect, come up to Daqing Mountain and beat me seriously. Although our Qingshan Sect's Qingyun Ju is an extremely precious and high-grade Huang-level skill that can be used to fight across the ranks, Xu Taihe used the big one to bully the small ones and sneak-attacked me and seriously injured me. He also forces us to take the initiative to challenge him. He wants to use us to challenge him and step on our heads to gain power. Otherwise, I will destroy my entire family, and even my beloved disciple, Pinyin, will be killed. This old bastard is extremely shameless. It's really extremely shameless. That when he said extremely shameless, Li Qingyun pointed his finger in one direction and kept shaking it. Huang Quanzi looked at the direction of Li Qingyun's finger, turned around and looked around. Why did he feel that Li Qingyun was pointing at me and scolding me? Li Qingyun coughed exaggeratedly again. At this time, Pinyin also reached out his hand to cover his face and whined. The audience looked at this pair of master and disciple who were extremely sad, especially Pinyin, who was so lovable, but now he was also threatened by the Soul Capture Sect. Their anger towards the Soul Capture Sect became even deeper, and they were all yelling at the Soul Capture Sect for being extremely shameless. The monks in the audience were all shocked when they heard Li Qingyun say that the Qingshan Sect had a high-grade Huang-level Qingyun Ju. They all knew that the value of high-grade Huang-level exercises was still, how high? And from what Li Qingyun said, can he still fight across the steppes? When Li Qingyun coughed, he looked at Pinyin and found that Pinyin was not covering his face and pretending to cry. Instead, I felt too embarrassed, covering my face and laughing. You. It seems that Pinyan's embarrassment will not change for a while, so Li Qingyun stopped coughing. Fortunately, my apprentice Pinyin is sensible. Yesterday, he secretly posted a notice on the city wall behind my back and wanted to challenge the second elder on my behalf. Someone in the audience shouted, "What a sensible apprentice! How touching!" Li Qingyun sighed. This tone really doesn't sound like a promise. As one person took the lead, the audience began to sympathize with Li Qingyun's master and apprentice, cheering Li Qingyun out loud, while others continued to scold the soul captors for being nothing. Wingdings, diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit. Huang Quanzi sat in the audience, watching Li Qingyun's master and apprentice singing in harmony, his teeth itching with hatred. At this time, Pinyin spoke. I would also like to thank Senior Huang Quanzi of the Qingshan Sect. He told me yesterday that if Elder Xu Taihe insisted on killing me, he would help me. He said that the person he hates most in his life is photographer. The great Elder Xuanhuan and the second Elder Xu Taihe of the Soul Sect, Huang Quanzi. The projection array projected Huang Quanzi's confused expression onto the array. The audience was very enthusiastic, and some people shouted, Senior Huang Quanzi is righteous. Speaking out for justice is a man. The Xuanhuan sect are all good men. Huang Quanzi's face turned red. Master and disciple Li Qingyun sang and harmonized each other. It was extremely shameless. But the current situation seemed that he had to go on stage to act with them, and drag himself into the water. Extremely shameless, shameless. Extremely great. This. Huang Quanzi said with a hard heart, it's indeed what I said. After saying this, he flew up to the ring and naturally took over the amplification formation from Li Qingyun's hand. The soul-capturing sect has committed a heinous crime. I, Huang Quanzi, will definitely lead the Xuanhuan sect and the Xuanhuan alliance to attack the soul-capturing sect. Audience. Huang Quanzi was stunned. Pinyin said crisply, thank you for being willing to be enemies with the great Elder Xuanhuan and the second Elder Xu Taihe of the soul-snatching sect for us. Huang Quanzi was stunned again. Why did this kid describe Xuanhuan in such detail every time? Why did he always feel that something was wrong? Pinyin said, otherwise, even if I practiced the yellow-level top-grade technique Qingyun Ju and used the sex formation to accelerate the practice to the 10th level of Qi training, but my strength was enough to fight against the initial stage of foundation building, I would definitely die when facing the Grand Elder of the Soul-Snatching Sect. At this time, even if Huang Quanzi was a fool, he understood that the Qingshan Sect was completely using this opportunity to promote itself. No wonder the master and apprentice kept repeating some techniques and formation acceleration. He gritted his teeth and said, then you should really thank me. Li Qingyun looked at Huang Quanzi, touched his chin, and showed a strange smile, I will thank you very much. At this time, a person wearing the soul-snatching sect uniform flew up from the stage. Look, that's the soul-catching sect uniform, it's someone from the soul-catching sect. Yes, it's someone from the soul-catching sect, I've seen him in the soul-catching sect. The disciple wearing the soul-catching sect uniform glanced at Li Qingyun, who nodded imperceptibly, and the disciple said loudly, the two great elders of our sect disdain to fight with the younger generation of the Qingshan sect, and it's not fair to win. Someone in the audience shouted again, hush, it seems that you are embarrassed too. As soon as these words came out, the audience immediately echoed and booed. The disciple continued, therefore, the second elder and the seventh elder, take the initiative to admit defeat in this competition. But another 40 disciples will be arranged to fight Pinyin and his senior brother Sun Liang in a fair fight. The audience was shocked and shouted. What a shame! 40-2. A fair fight. What a shame! What a shame! Get off! What a shame! How can you bully a poor master and disciple like this? Get off! Li Qingyun silently checked the remaining 39 outer disciples captured in his storage jade pendant, and then looked at the 40th captive standing on the stage. He silently said in his heart, what a sin, this time the soul-snatching sect and the Yellow Spring sect are both blamed, and both sides have been offended. Chapter 66 Guidance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hearing the audience scolding him to death, the disciple wearing the uniform of the soul captors gave Li Qingyun an aggrieved look. Li Qingyun responded with comforting eyes and motioned for him to continue. The disciple said, the second elder said that since the location has been determined by the Qingshan sect, the time should be determined by the soul-calling sect. The time should be set 2 days later, which is still sure. Humph. He looked at Li Qingyun, snorted coldly, and said calmly. When the time comes, 40 versus 2, it will be a fair fight. Please don't shy away from the fight, sect leader Li. This serious nonsense made the audience silent for a moment, but after a while, the audience became completely angry. You think we are fools, don't you? 40 versus 2 is fair. Is a fair fight? The Soul Captor sect is really big-faced. What a bully. Tang Yongho and the yellow-haired disciple next to him had strange expressions. They felt that the tone, expression, and degree of asshole this disciple just spoke were a bit like someone. Li Qingyun stood on the ring and let out a long sigh, his voice seemed to be filled with endless pain and regret. If I, Li Qingyun, reach the late stage of the golden elixir and rely on the high-grade Huang-level Qingyun Ju, how can I be afraid of the second elder of the soul-captivating sect of your mere nascent soul? Huang Quanzi's face twitched. How long has it been? I still haven't forgotten to hit GG. Li Qingyun's eyes were bloodshot. That's all, since your soul captor sect insists on killing them all, then I have no choice but to accept the challenge. He looked at the disciple wearing the soul capture sect uniform with hatred and laughed miserably. I'm afraid that if I don't agree, our master and disciple won't be able to survive tonight. Li Qingyun's expression of endless helplessness and pain vividly conveyed the image of a sect leader who became a sect leader at a young age but was helpless in the face of evil forces, especially the bloodshot eyes and the last miserable laugh. Completely ignited the audience's anger. Eggs, rotten vegetable leaves, and even shoes were violently thrown at the disciple by the audience in the front row. There was even an egg that unexpectedly hit Huang Quanzi's head. Li Qingyun looked at the audience member who threw Huang Quanzi's eggs and thought to himself, well done. The child care provider Sun Lianqing found was so professional. Not only did he take the lead in shouting every time, but now he also threw Huang Quanzi for himself. The disciple who was hit by the overwhelming number of eggs once again looked at Li Qingyun aggrievedly, and Li Qingyun gave him a comforting expression, meaning to be patient, but this scene doesn't look like this in the eyes of the audience. That person from the soul capture sect is glaring at sect leader Li. He's still threatening. He threatened with his eyes. It's inhumane. These masters and disciples are so pitiful, and you even threaten them. Is there any high-level monk here? I'll offer 500 spirit stones to help me kill this person. As soon as the disciple heard this, he immediately ran away with his head in his hands. Before leaving, he did not forget to leave a sentence. 2 days later, 40 versus 2, a fight to the death. Shameless, that the audience's anger towards the soul captor sect has been passed on to this disciple sent by Li Qingyun, although the real competition has not yet begun in the martial arts arenas of the 5 cities. The gossip about the grudges between the 3 major sects in Dihua Mansion has completely attracted all the residents who came to watch the battle. 1 passed to 10, 10 to 100, within 1 day. In the 5 cities of Dihua Prefecture, in the streets and alleys, everyone was talking about the grievances between Qingshan Sect, Soul Sect, and Xuanhuan Sect. Under the guidance of some thoughtful people, the shameless face of the soul-calling sect was infinitely magnified, and Huang Quanzi of the Xuanhuan sect was secretly interpreted as dull and hypocritical. Of course, the most important thing is that the young disciple of Qingshan Sect, Pinyin, is cute, pitiful, and sensible. At a young age, he knows how to fight for his master. Also, the leader of the Qingshan Sect, Li Qingyun, was young and had shouldered the sect's burden since he was a child. However, although he was extremely talented, he was ruthlessly suppressed by the soul capture sect in the end and had to fight to the death with the soul capture sect. Of course, there is also someone's favorite flattery. It is said that Li Qingyun is handsome and charming, making countless girls crazy about him. Lin Zhixiao took this information and reported it to Li Qingyun one by one. Li Qingyun waved his hand and said, I know all this, no need to say it. Are those 2 people from Xuanhuan sect back? Lin Zhixiao said, I was taken to a restaurant by Sun Lianqing. I think it can take an hour. Good. Li Qingyun nodded and said to Lin Zhixiao, do you know the meaning of what I asked you to do these days? Lin Zhixiao's eyes were full of admiration, and he said respectfully, the filial piety of the sect master is unheard of. I can only see the filial piety in case of emergency. For other things, please ask the sect master for advice. Li Qingyun sighed and said, this is a means to guide public opinion. Lin Zhixiao murmured, public opinion. Although he had never heard of this word, when Li Qingyun said it, he quickly understood its meaning. Li Qingyun said, but I didn't deceive these viewers. The soul-calling sect is a shameless person, but they just hide it better. They used the hidden illusion to deceive the residents of Dihua Prefecture, making the residents of Dihua Prefecture think that they were a sect that had nothing to do with the world. And today, I just used the illusion I showed to tell the residents of Dihua Mansion that the soul captors are all bastards. Hearing these words, Lin Zhixiao's ears were like thunder, and he hurriedly said, "Thank you very much for your guidance, Zhixiao." Li Qingyun said, "This method can do good things, but it can also do evil. In the future, when you learn this method, you must remember it, follow your heart and don't do evil." When saying this, Li Qingyun used his mental power to make Lin Zhixiao sweat profusely, and nodded fiercely, "Master, don't worry, Zhixiao swears to follow you until death, and will never do evil." Li Qingyun said, "That's good." He used various methods to package himself and Pinyin to win the sympathy of everyone in Dihua Prefecture. In fact, he used the personality routine that he often saw in his previous life. Now he has successfully won the sympathy of hundreds of thousands or even millions of people. The next step is to show his martial arts, change his personality, and set himself and Pinyin as geniuses who have practiced Qingyun Ju and have outstanding martial arts. Otherwise, wouldn't it be in vain for him and Pinyin to say those strange things on the stage? Lin Zhixiao calmed down, took out a storage ring from his arms, and said, "Master, this is the spirit stone sent by Huang Quanzi." "Oh." Li Qingyun took the storage ring and asked, "Where did he go?" "He hurried back to the sect. It is said that something happened in the sect." Lin Zhixiao said. "Send someone to find out." "Yes." Li Qingyun said, "Is Elder Yang back?" Lin Zhixiao said, "Elder Yang went out in the middle of the competition. It seems that he went to the direction of the soul capture sect. Now I don't know where he went." "Okay, you go down." Yang Hai Aoshue chased out, which was also one of Li Qingyun's plans. With Yang Hai Aoshue's strength after the breakthrough, as long as he didn't go to Siduquan to fight alone, there would be no problem. Next, Li Qingyun excitedly opened the storage ring, and 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, a total of 100,000 low-grade spirit stones piled up in the storage ring. Ding, mission objectives: 1. In Dihua Prefecture, build up the prestige of the sect, and complete it well. 2. And hit the reputation of the soul-snatching sect, and complete it well. 3. At the end of the mission, obtain the spirit stone sent by the Xuanhuan sect, and complete it. Mission rewards. Point 1. Hidden attributes 10,000.2. Genius points 1,500. The system frequently appears hidden attributes, but what exactly are these hidden attributes? Chapter 67 Xu Taihe gives in. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The 40 soul-capturing sect disciples that Pinyin had tied up had been handed over to Lin Zhixiao, and now he only had a few soul-capturing sect elders left in his hands. Google search reading. Li Qingyun looked at the second elder and thought, does this old man know more secrets than others? Now that we are no longer in the sect, there is no way to use prison torture, so we can only use other methods to extract confessions. An innocent smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Yes, Li Qingyun released the second elder from the storage jade pendant. At this time, he had regained consciousness. He looked at Li Qingyun and said, "Boy, I advise you to let me go. Don't make a mistake. I have been in Dihua Mansion for nearly 100 years in my life. I have never seen any tricks, so don't try to do anything in front of me." Li Qingyun thought to himself, this old man can pretend to be even better than me. However, his hands kept moving and opened a projection array placed in front of the two of them. This array was for Lin Zhixiao and Sun Lianqing to use for their convenience. The second elder said warily, "Boy, what kind of formation have I never seen in this life? Why are you showing me the projection formation? It's up to you." The projection array was opened, and a picture was displayed in the array. In the center of the picture was a huge arena. There were many people around the arena nervously arranging something. Li Qingyun said calmly, "Let you observe the battle that will take place in this arena today." "Humph. I thought you were going to come up with something special." The second elder sneered and said proudly, I've gone through countless battles in my life, big and small. What's so interesting about a small ring battle? Oh, Li Qingyun said, then let's look at something else. The projection array switched to the gate of Dihua City, where the monks gathered, and the famous restaurant, where huge notices were posted. The second elder stared at the notice and felt a little uneasy, but still sneered, challenge. Humph, use your disciples to challenge me. I have been challenged so many times in my life, and I have experienced so many conspiracies and tricks. Is there anything clever about this little trick of deliberately smearing me? Li Qingyun said, there is nothing clever about it, but I will send someone over after a while to replace this notice. The second elder felt even more uneasy and said, change, to what? Li Qingyun chuckled, this notice was posted in Dihua City of Dihua Prefecture. It was posted everywhere in the east, west, south, and north prefectures. That is to say, everyone in Quandihua Mansion knows that the 12-year-old disciple of Qingshan Sect's leader Li Qingyun wants to challenge the second elder of the soul-calling sect. Haha, Li Qingyun, that the second elder laughed wildly, as if he was laughing at Li Qingyun's ignorance. I have been in Dihua Mansion for nearly 100 years in my life. Who among the monks in Dihua Mansion doesn't know about me, Xu Taihe? I have already achieved a great reputation in Dihua Mansion for nearly 100 years. How will he be harmed by the slander of you, a shameless person? Li Qingyun said calmly, the old monks know you, do the new monks know you? Do the monks know you, do ordinary residents know you? That the second elder snorted coldly, it's just a mortal, so what's the problem if you don't know him? Well, Li Qingyun stood in front of the second elder, pacing back and forth slowly, and took out a piece of paper from one side and read. Then what do you think about me replacing this piece of paper? Xu Taihe, the second elder of the poor soul-storing sect, received the challenge from the Qingshan Sect yesterday. He was very frightened and uneasy. To be honest, I have been defeated by Li Qingyun, the leader of the Qingshan Sect, several times. As for the Qingshan Sect's lineage, I said fear has appeared in my heart, therefore, this challenge is my best chance to defeat the Qingshan Sect. Sun Liang, a young disciple of the Qingshan Sect, has practiced Qi at the 10th level. I will try my best to defeat him. Your courage is commendable. Elder Su chose the disciple with the lowest cultivation level to challenge him. What do you think? What will the people of Dihua Mansion do when they see your reply like this? That the second elder's eyes were red and he hissed, I have been practicing for hundreds of years in my life, how could I do it because of the slander of a brat like you? Li Qingyun said, it doesn't matter. After today is over, I will issue a notice in your tone, saying that I still can't overcome the fear in my heart before the battle, so I can only abstain from the battle. Do you think these residents will believe it? When the time comes, will the reputation you have accumulated in Dihua Mansion over the past 100 years be wiped out? That the second elder's face turned pale, a few drops of sweat rolled down his forehead, and he fell silent. Li Qingyun knew very well that for old men like the second elder, who had long been successful in cultivation, reputation was what they cared about most. They have already stood at a certain height. It has become a habit for them to hold high positions and put on airs and pretentiousness. Having power and manipulating others is already a part of their lives, so they know very well. They are in the eyes of most people. They are who they are. Most people don't care about the real you. Besides, they can't see the real you. They only believe in what they see in their eyes. Therefore, the second elder knew very well the power of Li Qingyun's 2 notices, and his reputation would be ruined. After a long silence, the second elder seemed to have endured great mental torture. His voice was hoarse and he said, what do you want to know? Li Qingyun said, the secret of the ghost spirit pearl and the 10,000 soul pills. The second elder said, Sita Quan will not let me go. Li Qingyun said, I will kill him. The second elder said, you can't kill him. Li Qingyun said, at least I can kill you. The second elder was silent. Li Qingyun said, I can kill you, but I can also give you a new life. The second elder said, does your Qingshan sect have the strength to do this? Li Qingyun said, just watch. The second elder looked at the projection array again and seemed a little hesitant. Li Qingyun said, since you are reborn, why do you cling to your past? That the second elder was stunned for a moment, muttering, since you are reborn, why do you cling to your past? Rebirth, past. Past is just an identity. In a moment, he actually glowed with the temperament of enlightenment. Unexpectedly, Li Qingyun's words actually broke through Xu Taihe's mental barriers for many years, and now there are signs of a breakthrough in his cultivation. Xu Taihe clasped his hands together and said, Xuanhuan has been in the soul-snatching sect for many years, but he has never given me an epiphany. I didn't expect that after only a few days in the Qingshan Sect, he suddenly realized the mental barrier that has been bothering me for many years. Xu Taihe said, please bring the jade slip over. I will tell you all the secrets about the 10,000 soul pills and the ghost pearl. Li Qingyun was stunned for a moment, but then his heart was burning. Finally, was Xuanhuan's conspiracy going to be solved? Just as Li Qingyun was questioning Xu Taihe, Yang Hai Aoshue tied up a Huang Sect disciple with red lotus and stood outside the Huang Sect, looking inside. In the middle of the competition, she saw Huang Quanzi instructing a disciple to sneak out, so she followed him. After following him, she found that the purpose of this Xuanhuan sect disciple was actually the soul-snatching sect. But this was not what surprised her the most. What surprised her was that after she caught this disciple outside the soul-snatching sect, she suddenly felt a very strong aura in the Xuanhuan sect. This aura was moving forward rapidly, carrying a monstrous murderous intent, and the direction was exactly the Xuanhuan sect. This aura has reached the peak of the nascent soul stage, and even has a trace of the aura of a celestial being. Yang Hai Aoshue recognized this aura, and she had seen his incarnation in the Ghost Sea Forest. She knew very well that she didn't even have the chance to use secret methods to escape before this human body, but she still chose to chase him. Chapter 68, Huang Quanzi takes the blame. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this time, Xuanhuan was standing in midair in front of the Huangquan sect's main hall. The breeze blew by, and a few strands of scattered black hair brushed from his snow-white face that was a bit strange. There was silence before the main hall. In the main hall, the leaders of the Huangquan alliance who had been dictating Li Qingyun's ranking issue were now kneeling at Xuanhuan's feet like dead dogs. Even though there were a large number of them, including more than a dozen Jindan-level monks, they could not resist in front of Xuanhuan, and some of their bodies had even begun to shake uncontrollably. They knew very well that Xuanhuan could kill them all with just one hand. Master Situ. We have crushed the highest level token. Master Huang Quanzi should be back soon. The man kneeling at the front shouted loudly. This man was the big man who advocated ousting the Qingshan sect back then. At this time, he was no longer as cool as before, because Xuanhuan seemed calm, but actually released a powerful pressure, and they were shrouded in pressure. Almost unable to move, the shout just now consumed almost half of his spiritual energy. Xuanhuan looked at the big man in surprise and said, Master Zhang of the Doquang sect. Seeing that Xuanhuan was questioning him, and even recognizing himself, the big man quickly mobilized his spiritual power, resisted the pressure and replied to Xuanhuan's words, gritted his teeth and said, It's me, I didn't expect. Lord Situ actually recognized me. He. Xuanhuan chuckled lightly. With his early-stage cultivation of Jindan, he can still speak under my pressure. This kind of strength is considered good among the two-star sect leaders. Pity. Xuanhuan changed the topic. It's a pity that he is a cold-blooded person who wants to join the Underworld Alliance and go against me. The big man's face turned pale, but at this time he no longer had enough strength to talk to Xuanhuan. He could only raise his head and look at Xuanhuan with pleading eyes. Xuanhuan sneered and said, If you want to survive, you can, it depends on whether you can be smarter and tell me something useful. After saying these words, Xuanhuan withdrew his pressure, and the dozens of people kneeling below all collapsed to the ground in an instant. Useless things. Although the big man's spiritual power was almost exhausted, he put his hands on the ground and stood up desperately. He knew that he had to do as Xuanhuan said and say something that satisfied him in order to survive. He gritted his teeth and said, Master Situ, what are your orders? I'll do it until my death. Xuanhuan slowly descended from mid-air and landed in front of the big man, saying, First question, where are the second elder and seventh elder of our sect? That the big man's eyes widened. Didn't the two elders return to the sect? Boom! A foundation building monk next to the big man suddenly exploded, flesh and blood flying out, and a large amount of blood flew out, turning several people around him into bright red blood. Despite such a tragic scene, even though the monks around were shaking with fear, no one dared to make a sound. If you keep talking nonsense like this, you will end up like him. Xuanhuan glanced at the big man and said expressionlessly. The big man was sweating like rain, and his face was pale, but at this time, his brain showed the strongest intelligence in his life. The last information the second elder and seventh elder received was that they went to Qingshan Sect to find Li Qingyun. There has been no information on these two people since then. According to Xuanhuan, these two people have not returned to the soul-calling sect since then, and they must not be dead yet, otherwise Xuanhuan would not ask where they are. Under normal logic, Xuanhuan should be suspicious of the Qingshan Sect, but the leader of the Qingshan Sect, Li Qingyun, is just a foundation-building monk. If he said that the second elder and the seventh elder were killed by Li Qingyun, he would not believe it. He directly killed the Huang sect, which shows that his primary target of suspicion is Huang Quanzi. Yes. In the entire Dihua mansion, there are no more than 3 people who are capable of dealing with the second elder. Now that Huang Quanzi has formed the Xuanhuan alliance and is openly confronting the soul-capturing sect, Huang Quanzi must have secretly dealt with the second elder of the soul-capturing sect. Then he even pretended to force Li Qingyun to challenge the soul captors in public. Maybe the two of them had colluded long ago. That the big man gritted his teeth and thought, "Old thief Huang Quanzi, you actually hid such important information. I trust you, but you almost killed me. Now don't blame brother for being uninterested." Thinking of this, the big man moved forward and bowed with clasped fists, "Master Situ." It was Huang Quanzi who secretly caught the second elder of Guizhong. As soon as he said this, the foundation-building monks in the back row looked at the big man in shock. It was Huang Quanzi who secretly caught Xu Taihe. They don't know. Could it be that this is information that only Jindan members in the alliance are qualified to know? However, at this time, the leaders of the previous Jindan cultivators also looked at the big man in disbelief, thinking in their minds, did Huang Quanzi only tell this sect master, but not us? Xuanhuan looked at the big man, narrowed his eyes slightly, and said, "Keep talking." Seeing that these words were effective, the big man was shocked and continued, "For some reason, the two elders of Guizhong returned without success in the Qingshan Sect. Huang Quanzi, an old thief, took advantage of the two elders of Guizhong to return from the Qingshan Sect and suddenly took action. A sneak attack, injuring the second elder and capturing them. Yang Haiaoxue was originally hiding near the main hall. She was lucky that Xuanhuan had not reached heaven and could not find her. Later, Xuanhuan exploded the body of a monk, and she lamented Xuanhuan's cruelty. Now, after the big man said these words, she looked confused. Wasn't the second elder lying in Li Qingyun's storage ring? How could he be kidnapped by Huang Quanzi? The big man talked more and more enthusiastically. Then Huang Quanzi has colluded with Li Qingyun a long time ago. Li Qingyun is a pawn of Huang Quanzi. Now he is blatantly challenging the second elder of Guizhong in various cities in Dihua Mansion, and he is still wantonly smearing the reputation of Soul Capture Sect. Why does he dare to challenge? It's not because he knows that the second elder and the seventh elder of Guizhong will not fight at all. Why does he not dare to fight? It's because they were caught by the old thief Huang Quanzi. Xuanhuan's face was heavy, and anger slowly emerged on his originally plain face. So that's it, Huang Quanzi is so treacherous. Exactly. The big man agreed with a serious face. According to my speculation, Huang Quanzi's conspiracy is far more than that, but I don't know the deeper conspiracy. Yang Haiaoxue. Is Huang Quanzi taking the blame for Li Qingyun? Is it so unlucky? Chapter 69 I told him everything. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xuanhuan sneered, waved his sleeves, and an extremely powerful wind emerged from around him. Most of the buildings, including the Xuanhuan sect's main hall, were reduced to ruins by this strong wind. Google search reading, all the leaders present, except Zhang Dehan, who revealed the information, fell to the ground without even screaming. Zhang Dehan's cold sweat soaked his juniors, and dozens of foundation building and golden elixir monks all fainted to death under Sidiquan's methods. Under this blow, even if they did not die, their consciousness would be greatly damaged, but at the same time of fear, there was also a trace of happiness in his heart. After all, what he said just now was all guessed by himself without any real evidence. He had been worried that he would be refuted by other leaders. In that case, what he had just obtained from Sidiquan trust is no longer there. Sidiquan severely injured everyone in his anger. These people would be unable to speak for a while, so during this period, no matter what he said, Sidiquan would believe him. Thinking of this, Zhang Dehan's eyes flashed with a sinister look. Huang Quanzi returned to the sect. Looking at the bloody scene in the sect, Huang Quanzi was confused. He had thought of 10,000 possibilities, but he never expected the current result: shock, confusion, disbelief, and then uncontrollable anger, unacceptable anger. The sect that he had worked so hard for so many years was actually destroyed. Who did this? Who did this? Huang Quanzi roared with blood-red eyes. Suddenly, an extremely dangerous aura suddenly appeared behind Huang Quanzi. Rewind. Huang Quanzi exploded with all his cultivation, moved several dozen feet forward, turned around and looked back. An eerily handsome Taoist with a white face and no beard, bright red lips, and dark eyebrows stood there, looking at him indifferently. Sidiquan, Huang Quanzi hissed, did you do it? Did you destroy my Xuanhuan sect? No, not just the Xuanhuan sect, but also the Xuanhuan alliance you formed a few days ago. Sidiquan corrected. Huang Quanzi's body was shaking uncontrollably, and he was obviously extremely angry. His voice was like a wounded beast. You are going too far. Sidiquan said, from the moment you formed this so-called Xuanhuan alliance, you have been an enemy of me. Don't you understand these principles? That he said impatiently. Hand over Xu Taihe and spare your life. Huang Quanzi was stunned for a moment. How do I know where Xu Taihe is? Sidiquan said, even now, you are still acting here. It seems that you won't shed tears until you see the coffin. As soon as he finished speaking, Zhang Dehan walked out from behind Sidiquan. Sect leader Zhang. Huang Quanzi asked, what's wrong with you? Sidiquan said, he told me everything. Huang Quanzi looked confused. What did he tell you? Zhang Dehan looked honest. I told him everything. Before he finished speaking, Zhang Dehan took out a jade slip in his hand and drove it. The jade slip projected an image that made Huang Quanzi cry. In the image, Pingan stood in the center of the ring, and his clear voice echoed above the ring. Would also like to thank Senior Huang Quanzi of the Xuanhuan sect. He told me yesterday that if Elder Xu Taihe insisted on killing me, he would take action. Help. He said that the people he hates the most in his life are the great Elder Sidiquan and the second Elder Xu Taihe of the Soul Capture sect. Immediately afterwards, Huang Quanzi's figure and image appeared. This. That's what I said. The soul-capturing sect's crimes are extremely heinous. I, Huang Quanzi, will definitely lead the Xuanhuan sect and the Xuanhuan alliance to attack the soul-capturing sect. Pingan, thank you for being willing to make enemies of the soul-capturing sect's great elder Sidiquan and second elder Xu Taihe for our sake. Senior Huang Quanzi is so righteous, that if Li Qingyun were here, he would definitely be surprised. This Zhang Dehan's image processing is exactly the same as the master in his previous life, and he has used his specialty of taking words out of context to the extreme. After the video ended, Zhang Dehan looked at Huang Quanzi honestly and said, Master Huang Quanzi, just admit it, isn't it just using Li Qingyun to deal with the soul captor sect? Huang Quanzi. He was already confused by Zhang Dehan's actions, and at this time he didn't even have any anger left in his heart, but in Sidiquan's opinion, this expression was a sign of panic that the lie had been exposed, and he said, hand over Xu Taihe, and I will spare your life. Zhang Dehan, yes, Mr. Huang Quanzi, just hand over Xu Taihe and admit it. Isn't it just using the second elder not to fight to slander the reputation of the soul-destroying sect? Huang Quanzi. What are you talking about? Sidiquan said, do you think your plan can succeed? Do you think the 40 disciples captured by Li Qingyun are really the same 40 people as before? How can I let them smear our soul-capturing sect? Huang Quanzi. Until now, he still hasn't figured out the situation. Is this sect leader Zhang and Sidu Quan colluding to frame him? Or did Zhang Dehan and Li Qingyun collude to frame him? Or Li Qingyun and Sidu Quan teamed up to frame him? Why do I feel like the whole world is setting me up? That night, Xuanliu's city was in the residence of the 40 disciples who were kidnapped by Pinyin. Do you think that joining Qingshan Sect can really make us stronger than Qingshan Sect? A thin-looking disciple asked worriedly. Another round-faced disciple said carelessly, it is definitely better than being a chores disciple in Qingshan Sect. Didn't you see Pinyin from Qingshan Sect? How old is he? He beat 40 of us alone. That's right. If we don't agree to Qingshan Sect's request, we don't know how Qingshan Sect will deal with us. If we agree to Qingshan Sect's request, we will definitely be on the same boat with Qingshan Sect. We will have to join Qingshan Sect even if we don't want to. The thin boy said. The round-faced disciple comforted him, I see there aren't many people in Qingshan Sect. If we join, we might become the founding elders. Besides, although Pinyin and Sun Liang are fierce when they fight, they are usually very nice people. Don't be afraid of them. The thin disciple muttered, who knows if it's true or not? Who knows in the future? It's just a play. Even if we don't pretend, we can't beat that monster Pinyin, let alone his senior brother. When the 40 disciples were thinking about something in their residence, a black shadow quietly approached the residence. The black shadow quietly sneaked into the residence, and the disciples in the residence were unaware of it. However, the black shadow did not attack the disciples. Instead, he carefully took out a pill from his arms and swallowed it, and then opened a small bottle. Endless evil aura gushed out of the small bottle, making the black shadow a little scared. If he hadn't taken the elixir beforehand, he would have been infected by the aura. The black aura quickly covered the entire residence, and the 40 disciples in the residence, under the black aura, one by one, lost their spiritual light in their eyes, and their expressions became strange and abnormal, but at the same time, the aura on their bodies surged a lot. Chapter 70 Feiyu. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 2 days later, in the Dihua City Martial Arts Arena, the Qingshan Sect Disciples vs 40 Soul-Sucking Sect Disciples competition was held as scheduled. Since the first competition was free, a large number of viewers paid attention to the Qingshan Sect disciple named Pinyin, and Li Qingyun, the poor master and disciple. In the past 2 days, the grievances between Master Li Qingyun and the Soul Captor sect have been promoted by promoters and fermented in the 5 major cities of Dihua City. People are eager to know what the final fate will be between this poor pair of masters and apprentices and the hateful soul captors. Therefore, for this second competition, it was logical to collect tickets that were not cheap. But even so, the supply of tickets was still in short supply. It is said that on the black market, a ticket with Pinyin visible in the front row has been sold for dozens of dollars. A spiritual stone. Dozens of spirit stones are usually enough for a low-level Qi training monk to practice for 2 years. At that time, Feng Yong, who was at Wang Ruhai's banquet, faced with dozens of spirit stones, even sighed that I can't earn them in my life. Lin Zhixiao looked at the intelligence sent from the martial arts venues in the 5 cities, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly, then rose again, then rose crazily, and finally turned into a wild laugh. Ha 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 ha, the sect leader really has a clever plan. Li Qingyun was a little worried. It was still half an hour before the competition started, and he felt more and more something was wrong. Yang Haiaoshua left 2 days ago and never returned. Tang Yongho and the yellow-haired disciple who were monitoring him looked a little panicked these past 2 days. Although the 40 captive disciples planned to compete with Pinyin, he always felt that something was wrong. The sun is setting in the west, the crows are returning home, the weather is clear and cloudless. It is a good weather. Li Qingyun looked down. Under the huge arena, most of the audience had already arrived in advance. Some of them were holding big character posters and banners supporting Pinyin, which reminded him of the scene of chasing stars in his previous life. At this time, Sun Lianqing walked over from behind, accompanied by an old man in a green robe. It was the old man named Lu who appraised the 10,000 soul pills for Li Qingyun. Master Lu. Li Qingyun stepped forward and said, "Why are you here?" Master Lu stroked his beard and said with a smile, "What? I'm an old man and I can't join in the fun. A competition of this scale has been rare in Dihua City for decades. I am also very curious." Having said this, Master Lu approached Li Qingyun and wanted to say something to Li Qingyun, but suddenly, there was a very strong sound of breaking through the sky from the horizon, and a ray of light came straight from a distance at an extremely strong speed. The power contained in the escaping light made Li Qingyun's complexion change drastically. This is, Xuanhuan landed directly on the ring without any hesitation, the light dissipated, and a strange-looking Taoist emerged from the light. Xuanhuan. Li Qingyun pointed in the direction of Xuanhuan, right next to Xuanhuan. Huang Quanzi, dressed in a yellow robe, stood beside Xuanhuan dejectedly. It seemed that he had been subdued by Xuanhuan. Now Xuanhuan comes to the door with Huang Quanzi. Has the matter been exposed? Unexpectedly, Xuanhuan turned his head, looked at Huang Quanzi and said, "Even now, aren't you ready to reveal the whereabouts of Xu Taihe?" Li Qingyun. Huang Quanzi was obviously impatient at this time, or was numb to Xuanhuan's question, and replied numbly, "How the hell do I know where Xu Taihe and that old bastard are?" Xuanhuan said angrily, "Don't think that I won't dare to kill you if you act like this." Huang Quanzi raised his eyelids and looked at Xuanhuan, "Do you dare?" "Humph." Xuanhuan snorted coldly, looked at Li Qingyun, tried his best to soften his expression, and said, "Qingyun, don't cooperate with Huang Quanzi anymore, he is obviously trying to trick you. If you cooperate with Uncle Situ will never cheat you." Situ? Uncle. Li Qingyun silently recited this unfamiliar word, and he was even more confused than before. Just now he was just wondering why Xuanhuan was fighting with Huang Quanzi, and why he was looking for Xu Taihe from Huang Quanzi. Now, what he was wondering was, why could Xuanhuan be so shamelessly let himself call him Uncle Situ? Doesn't he know what evil he did back then? In his memory, Li Qingyun's cheap dad valued Xuanhuan very much. However, after his cheap dad died, Xuanhuan immediately added insult to injury and almost single-handedly destroyed the Qingshan Sect. Now, he still has the nerve to call him uncle. Seeing that Li Qingyun didn't reply, Xuanhuan sighed, "I also had difficulties back then. After all, the situation at that time." "Okay, I get it." Li Qingyun interrupted Xuanhuan, looked at Huang Quanzi and said with a smile, "Uncle Huang Quanzi, Qingyun will keep your secret. I will never tell him where Xu Taihe is." It seems that Xuanhuan really thought that he was deceived by Huang Quanzi and used as a knife by Huang Quanzi. He was even the cowardly Li Qingyun who had no thoughts of his own and wanted to deceive him with a few lies and false warmth. It's a pity. Judging from the current situation, he seems to be the deceptive boss. Xuanhuan's soft complexion, which he had tried his best to adjust, suddenly froze. Huang Quanzi looked at Li Qingyun blankly, crying silently in his heart, "Li Qingyun, what the hell are you talking about? Why do I feel that I have been tricked by you?" At this time, another sound of breaking through the air came, and this escape light obviously came from Dihua City. Xuanhuan's face changed slightly. "Sure Feiyu, he is here too." The escape light fell on the stage, and a thin and shriveled man appeared from the escape light. The man had a long and square face and a big nose. After landing on the spot, he looked at the people on the stage. "Wow, why are there so many people today? Have so many people come to our Dihua City?" Xuanhuan, Huang Quanzi, oh, Master Lu, why are you here too? Master Lu smiled and said, "This stage is the property of my Tianji Pavilion branch. It's normal for me to be here. Moreover, I have to remind you that this ring is within a 10-mile radius of the Tianji Pavilion branch. It is the territory of the Tianji Pavilion. You should control your emotions and don't fight." Shi Feiyu laughed and said, "Of course, my Dihua sect has been in Dihua City for hundreds of years, and I dare not mess with your Tianji Pavilion." Li Qingyun widened his eyes and looked at the man. He finally remembered that the man in front of him was the leader of the Dihua sect, the only 4-star sect in Dihua Prefecture, the legendary leader who suddenly went crazy, Feiyu, Sitaquan, Huang Quanzi, Feiyu, so many big figures gathered here today, and it seems that they are targeting each other. It seems that something big must have happened today.